one that's gotten a lot of not just Port Harcourt people, but basically all Nigerians, in a bit of a hairy bunch in the past decade. Now, please listen to this. Do you think politicians must use public infrastructure as a sign of the trust in the system? Do you think politicians must use public infrastructure as a sign of the trust in the system? So what are these public infrastructures? Public schools, public healthcare centers, let's see, maybe public parks, what else? Oh yeah, public roads, public transportation. How's that? Okay, must they? Should they? Now, Boris Johnson, caused a bit of a stir for Africans, not for the UK people, for Africans, years and years ago when he was a London mayor, and he was seen riding a bicycle to work. Now, hold up, a lot of people are like, it's a bit hypocritical, because we've seen European leaders do that. They drive from maybe their house, all right, close to where they're meant to be seen, and then they hop on the bicycle, and voila, everybody, oh my God, our leader is so nice, he's so understanding, he's in tune with the times, he's trying to save the earth, blah 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 blah, and blue. However, what is very clear is that a lot of people don't get to see, the very large convoys, right, for vehicles, right, that they are accustomed to here in Nigeria that you get to see in the UK. That's one. But the point here is Boris Johnson rode a bicycle. All right. How many? I know one or two politicians in the past rode a bicycle one time, but it wasn't consistent. But anyway. And then another time, Boris Johnson was also seen taking the public train, not the private train. Right? Private trains are super expensive, more expensive than planes. You should believe that. But anywho, Boris Johnson was seen taking the public train, and why it got a lot of Africans, all up in their hair bunch again, was that a passerby saw him, recorded and said, "Hey, Boris, SWAT team." Was very disgusted with Boris Johnson back then. And, and Boris Johnson just kept on walking. There were no 95 DSS people around, or 2,000 policemen following him. No, it was just him and 2 or 3 of his security detail. That was it. And, Boris got on the train. I can go on and on and on and on. Now, the reason why I asked this question is that very recently, our very own Siminalayi Fubara, that's the governor of Rivers State, said, look, I don't need to defend, my choice of sending my child to a private school. Doesn't. I really don't. And then responding to this, we got an interview from a very interesting gentleman, an educationist, all right, Mr. Dumba said, hey, look, there are ways to go about this, all right, and so sending a child to a private school is not all there is to education by the status of the parent in this case. Let's take a listen to his point, because there really lies the crux of my conversation with you this morning. Please, once again, listen very carefully, ladies and gentlemen, very carefully.
Because there are certain things private schools will be able to provide that the government school may not. Because for the government school, they are looking out for the big. But for the private school, they're in business, and so there's a competition. So there are certain things that private schools will want to do. They look for an edge. It's a society structure. It's not about the private schools. It's about class. Public officials, it's about class. Not just public officials, by the way. If you're a government official, you want to put your child in a certain level of school and depict your status in society. It's not a function of the fact that it is school. It's about class, the class differentiation thing.
You see, did you hear that? It's a class differentiation thing, right? Now, once again, let me tell you, just in case you didn't know, that the prince, well, he's no longer, but before, when he was the Prince of Wales, talking about Charles, had his children, because of his wife, Princess Diana, go to a little less posh schools. But the point is, they didn't go to the regular, schools everybody went to. They didn't. All right, Boris Johnson and a few of the other prime ministers that have served the British country did not go to very regular day school. They didn't. I'm honest, they did not. All right, and I can go on and on. Right, some people who are able to afford private schools take their children to private schools, not because the public schools in America or UK are terrible. No, but like he said, they're looking for something to make them stand out. So really, the fact that the governor doesn't have his son in a public school doesn't mean he's a bad man or the public schools are not great or cannot be great. He's just governor for 2.5 minutes. So why is there so much pressure on him? Why? Why? Oh, why?
The views and opinions shared on this program do not represent the position of Nigeria Info FM. Nigeria Info, let's talk.
017-923-0002, 0817923-0003. Interesting debate we'll have on our hands this morning. And let's get to hear from you. WhatsApp 0809-030-6416, 0809-030-6416. 92.3, good morning to you. Hello, Port Harcourt.
Yeah, Adam, good morning to you.
Good morning.
It's a shared wickedness for any office holder not to allow his children to be in public facilities.
How is it shared wickedness when he was always... Wait, hold on. How is it wickedness when he or she wasn't always a public officer before the son or daughter went into that private school? How is it shared?
Let me ask you, you went to a restaurant and they told you that the owner of the restaurant does not eat the food she is cooking or he is cooking. Will you get to rent that restaurant? Let's be honest to you.
Wait, Zion. It depends on what the restaurant is offering. I know some businessmen who open a business for a group of persons. They may not be interested in that thing, but because they know there's money there,
you are not interested.
Wait, hold on.
Get to destroy your thing.
No, Zion, don't misconstrue. They are there to make money. All right, I've heard of businessmen who don't eat chicken, but guess what? Hold on. They don't eat chicken, right? But they own chicken farms. Why? Because they know there's money in chicken. So those who like chicken, they will provide a service for them.
Are you trying to tell me now that the politicians are in politics because they want to make money?
No.
That is because we're in this careless environment. Growing up as a child, what government was defined to me and what we are doing here is total dream. It's not responsible. You are the governor. He's just been governor for 2.5 minutes. He wasn't governor 3 years ago. Even 1 minute, you are in office, you are in charge. Please, initially in the military, Nigeria has been. There are properties you should not have. There is a level you will get to in the Nigerian security agency before you are allowed to drive a car. You know why? To avoid corruption. But today, look at it. Those that were just joining the military today, they want to drive it. Look at the level of corruption.
Things have changed. It doesn't necessarily mean that this corruption is making them. Times have changed.
It is corruption, nothing more. Because what will give you the money to go and drive such a car?
Have you heard of Forex? Have you heard of logistical businesses? There are lots of things these days that people are getting into that can bring them wealth. That can bring wealth to people without necessarily being corrupt practices. Let's be very honest. A lot of things. Now, before you come on and start judging the politicians, please hear me out. I'm not holding brief for anyone, but there seems to be a bit of a misnomer here. Okay, a man, woman, president, governor, politician, or not, has a right to make use of certain amenities that he or she feels he or she is able to afford. As we're speaking, let's be very honest. How many of you come to eat where Jude eats in the Buka? But because you don't eat at Mama and Kem's place, does that mean you are a bad person or you're hypocritical or you're not understanding the plight of people like Jude? Does that mean that? I don't know. Drop questionnaire. Let's get to read messages now. And yes, I'm not surprised. They are coming in thick and fast. 0809-030-6416. At Nigeria Info PH is where you find us on Facebook and on Twitter. At Nigeria Info PH is where you find us on Facebook and on Twitter. It's a very very straightforward question I'm asking this morning. Must politician, does a politician have to use public infrastructure to prove that it is efficient or is good? There are some ministers, there are some governors all over the world, right, who don't use public transport. Does it mean that they are bad? Their children don't ride on tuke buses. Does it mean they are bad? Or does it mean that the transport system in that country is not efficient or is not well managed? Let's not kid ourselves, people. There are some of you right now, you've worked so hard, you've attained a certain level, right? Public official or not. And you're not looking down on people like Jude, who steals from Mama and came at 500 naira, 600 naira. You like to go to posh restaurants where you pay 10, 20, or even 50,000 naira for a 3-course meal. Why? You are paying for the ambience. Every human being has the right to pay for what he or she can afford. Sentiments here. Sentiments. And they are rife. Hello, Potaka returns after this break.